After all-night talks between the leaders of Germany, France, Ukraine, and Russia, there is now an agreement for a ceasefire to end the fighting in eastern Ukraine. Our Kim In-jae reports.
Peace talks aimed at ending the deadly fighting in eastern Ukraine have concluded with a breakthrough. A ceasefire is set to be implemented starting midnight on Friday 15th in parts of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. The agreement was reached after a 16-hour talk between leaders of Russia, Ukraine, France, and Germany.
It wasn't the very best night of my life, but the morning in my view was kind, because despite all of the difficulties in the process, we managed to agree on the main issues.
I can say that everything was difficult, and in fact various unacceptable conditions were put to us, conditions of retreat, of surrender.
The specifics will now need to be ironed out, but the deal also calls for Ukrainian forces and pro-Russian rebels to withdraw their heavy weapons from the front lines to create a buffer zone of 50 kilometers. It also calls for constitutional reform to grant eastern Ukraine more autonomy. Now the question is, will the ceasefire hold, as the summit talks came amid bloody clashes between the Ukrainian army and rebels? But if it does, it will bring an end to the 10-month conflict that has claimed more than 5,000 lives. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the European Union could impose further sanctions should the deal fail to be fully implemented. A ceasefire in September fell apart within days as both sides tried to expand their areas of control. The agreement came as the IMF announced a bailout program of $17.5 billion for Ukraine, which is part of an economic revitalization plan that aims to create a $40 billion lifeline for the war-torn country. The World Bank will also provide $2 billion of that package. Kim In-jae, Arirang News.